Hey y'all, it's Sarah and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is my second of 3 videos that I'm filming today. So if you're saying to yourself, did I not just see that girl in the same outfit last video? Yes, you did. I am back 10 minutes later. I did put on some like berry lipstick, so there we go. So from the title, you can see that I am doing my best books of 2021 today, but it's a little bit different for me than it was last year. So last year I read 125 books, I believe, and most of them were new books, like new books to me, and that was because I was reading again for the first time since really I was in high school. This year I've read 67 books and probably half of them have been rereads. Half are rereads. So that's not necessarily out of the ordinary for me, as I do like to read things like Divergent, Scythe, and Truly Devious, over and over again. Those are just comfort reads to me. I still didn't have a lot of times to read books this year. My first half of the year was wildly different than the second half. Between January and July, I read 55 books. Between July and now, I read 12. So really big difference. And some of y'all know that in June this year, I moved across the country. I also got a new job that was significantly different than my previous jobs, and things got crazy. I've got some life changes happening now that are going to be opening things up for me and are going to be helping me out a lot. But still, for next year, I'm not going to read 100 books again. I'm going to make a video on my reading year and my reading goals here in the future, but I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of context for this video. Because I reread so many books, I'm not going to be using those here in my favorite books of 2021. Normally I would pick 10 books that are my favorite. In this case, I'm going to pick 5. 6 technically, but 2 are in a series. But yeah, I'm going to pick 5, and that's really all I have. I read a lot of good books this year, but these are my 5 standouts, and I like to make sure I can actually discern a difference between something that was good and something that was really, really good. And these 5 books are things that actually really made me feel something or really had me enjoying what I was doing. I had a hard time reading this year because second half of the year, a lot of what I read, I couldn't have fun doing it. It was almost stressful because I could read like 7 pages at a time. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. Read 7 pages and then 2 weeks later, I have time to read 7 more pages. And I know a lot of that has to do with prioritizing, but it also has to do with what's going on in my brain and what I have time for and what I can actually give energy to. And a lot of times we have to decide, I can give energy to this, but not this. And for me, that was reading. So I do have 5 new reads for me that I want to share with you guys today as my top 5 books of 2021. I am super excited about every single one of these. They are vastly different, but I loved every single one of them. And hopefully if you've read these as well, you love them too. If not, it's okay. I won't give you a hard time. But also take this as my recommendations for you this year. I will have all of these books linked down below. As usual, they are affiliate links. So if you choose to shop that way, I may receive a commission from that purchase. However, if you're not comfortable with that, shop the way you normally shop, or do what I like to do and check out your library. So here are my top 5 books of 2021. All right, so first up, I'm gonna pick 2 books in a series that I read both of this year, and I read them with my friend Trish and also with my friend Tori. Trish and I had been talking about reading these, and we said, this was the moment of 2021 where you wish you could read that book again for the first time, and it was such an enjoyable moment for us. I mean, we texted throughout the whole thing, and it was just so fun. So those books are from the Inheritance Games series, so let me get those up for you. First off, with our green cover, we have the Inheritance Games. This is the first one of the series. And the second one right here is the Hawthorne Legacy. The Inheritance Games series I've talked about a lot on my channel, but honestly, when I've read these books, it's fast-paced, it's fun, and it reminds me of why I loved reading, especially as a kid. When I'm telling you that every chapter there's a plot twist, there is a plot twist in every chapter. Every chapter is different. Something is always happening. And I love that. I know that there's a time and a place for books where you sit with characters and you're in their feelings and you're really thinking about what's going on in the world. This is not that. This is as fast as you can be. It's a YA mystery about a girl named Avery, and she is growing up in poverty, but she has just received notice that she is the beneficiary of a billionaire's entire inheritance. She has no idea who he is. She has no clue. So this is an amazing book. There's a lot of puzzles. The puzzles also deal with what's on the cover. So if you have the US cover, there's some clues along the way. And then the second one right here is the Hawthorne Legacy. And this one dials it up another notch. So this takes the games and the mystery to a whole nother level. You are left at the end just mind blown, like what on earth just happened? Like you think you know, okay? You get 30 pages left and you're like, oh, we're gonna wrap up the ending now. No, you are not. You are not wrapping up the ending. It's still about to get crazy. So if you love books that are fast, especially if you're in a reading slump and you're like, I need something to just get me going again, these books are definitely it. Definitely top 5 of 2021. All right, next one up is A Court of Silver Flames. This is my top book of 2021. I should have done these in order. What was I thinking? This is my top book of 2021. I probably couldn't really put the others in order because I loved all of them. You've heard me talk ad nauseum about this. If you saw my video reviewing this book in particular, I'll link it down below. I would love if y'all watched that. I spilled my heart out and got really emotional, and yeah, it's a good video. But this book is incredible. It made me feel everything, good and bad. It is the continuation of the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I know this series is very polarizing, but it has a lot of big fans. I believe this just won the Goodreads 2021 award for fantasy. This book is stunning. I mean, it is a long journey with Nesta, who is one of our supporting characters from the original trilogy. She is suffering trauma, she has PTSD, and it is the most accurate portrayal of what I have gone through in my life in a book that I've ever seen. And so for that, I personally connect with it. I've seen a lot of people having a good time making fun of this book, but I think it is important to note that this book means a lot to people who have gone through something similar. Obviously not like exactly what Nesta went through because it's fantasy, but who have gone through similar trials in life and deal with similar issues as Nesta. I think it's important to take care when we talk about this book and just say, you know, not every book is for everybody, but this one does really portray mental health really well. And I definitely think if you're a lover of this series, it's definitely worth continuing and checking this one out as well. All right, so I was gonna film a most surprising books of 2021 because I've seen a lot of people do that and it seems really cool. Like I love watching those, so I thought other people might as well. And really I could only think of one book and that is this one. It's Tower of Dawn. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know the joke that is this book in my brain, which is this is one of my top 5 books of 2021. It took me over a year to read it. Me and my friend Tori were like, we're gonna read Tower of Dawn, we're gonna read Tower of Dawn sometime. A lot of people actually told me to skip this one. They said it doesn't matter, just look up the information on the wiki. I thought about doing that because I am that person, and I decided not to after a year. Tori and I finally pushed through this one. This was the best book of 2021. You know, this is probably number 2 for me. I love this book for the same reason that I love A Court of Silver Flames. It takes you on an emotional journey. It is character focused. That's not something I normally love, but when it's something that I can feel for, I definitely can resonate with this book. This book is long, but I think you're going to find a lot of new characters in it that you really love. It is part of the Throne of Glass series. It is in between Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash. A lot of people I've seen read this tandem with Empire of Storms, and I probably should have done that. I think that would have been really cool. Putting this off for so long made it so shocking to me when I was obsessed with it. I just can't even explain like the turnaround from me being like, I never need to read that book. I could care less about it. And then one of my friends was selling this book on Instagram and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll buy it. I bought it. Here we are. It's number 2 on my list. So if you were thinking about skipping this book in the Throne of Glass series, do not. Okay, this is my PSA to you. Do not skip this book. This book is awesome. All right, next one up is going to be in one of my favorite series. This is a new one that just came out this year, but like I mentioned before, I do a lot of rereads, and one of those series is Truly Devious. It's that bright blue book that I've shown you a million times here on my channel. But the fourth book in the series, which takes place in a new setting, it takes place in a summer camp, is this one right here called The Box in the Woods. First off, I love the cover. The colors on these books are unreal. It's absolutely beautiful. But this book, like I said, is the continuation of the Truly Devious series. So we still have our main character, and we also have some supporting characters, but we are in a new location now at a summer camp. It's very like slasher film, summer campy-esque, but also like not too gruesome. You know, it's not a horror book, it's definitely a YA mystery, but it has that feel. So if you're someone who loves those type of movies, I think you'll really like this as well. I know a lot of people love Truly Devious, but they haven't given this one a chance. I definitely think it's worth it. You're gonna find the same wit, the same banter, the same connections between the characters. I think you're really going to enjoy it. The new setting is really cool. And the mystery is just as good. You know, I still think it's a really great story, and I absolutely love reading this one. It made me feel really cool to be back in the world with our main character, Stevie. She is just an awesome gal, and so I love seeing a new release. I was able to get this one early, and it was just super, super fun to read. I can't wait to reread it. I'll probably do that next summer because I read this one this summer. And my last book of the year, I actually haven't talked about as much since I had read it. I definitely did post did I? I posted a review of this one on Instagram. I read it with my friend Lee Ellen over on Instagram. She runs a book club, and this is one of the books that we read this summer. The Four Winds. Y'all, this book, okay? It won, I believe, the Book of the Month, Book of the Year. It should have won the Goodreads historical fiction book for 2021. I Will Die on That Hill. I love this book. For those of y'all that know Kristen Hanna, she writes historical fiction, and it's often very sad. This book is no exception. If you're looking for a book that finds like the ultimate silver lining out of anything and every situation in the world, this is not that for you, okay? If you want a book that's a realistic portrayal of what was going on in a particular time period, Kristen Hanna is your author. So The Four Winds takes place during the Dust Bowl of the 1930s, and it takes our main character basically across the country. Our main character, Elsa, is traveling from Texas across to California, trying to make a new life for herself and her children during the Dust Bowl, and the book jacket of this book says that it's a harsh reality, and I could not describe this book any better. It is a harsh reality. I loved this book because based on everything that I had learned so far about this time period, it seemed like an accurate portrayal. Obviously, I'm not a historian, but I didn't feel like anything was sugar-coated or glamorized to make our characters' lives seem better. If you are someone who does not want to read something that's sad, or something that's sad throughout, you will not like this book. But if you want to read a story about perseverance and family and doing anything you can for other people set in this time period, which is not as often written about, I think you'll love this book. Obviously, a bunch of people have. A lot of people don't like it because they said it's slow. And yeah, I mean, I suppose it is. I suppose it is slow, you know, traveling from Texas to California in the 1930s is not something that happens super quickly. It definitely is a little slower, but it takes every detail. Like, it looks at every piece of the story, of every piece of the journey. And if you want to see what that truly looks like, I think Kristen Hanna has done a really good job researching this time period and putting it on the page. So those are my top 5 books of 2021. I hope you guys found something interesting on this list. If you have read any of these, please comment down below or tell me one of your top books of 2021. I am adding to my 2022 TBR, so definitely give me something to add there. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it. Most people who watch my channel aren't subscribed, so if you're a repeat watcher, go ahead and click subscribe. It's free, it's fun. So I would love for y'all to join my little family here on YouTube, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.